Okay, Jay, thanks for your order. Here's your radio right here. So, same programming stuff that I do on this. So, it'll go up to 28505, or maybe even a little higher than that if you want to go like that. You could always change it in the software if you want to. If you need the software, I can get that to you. I can send you a link to it. There's another dealer in the UK that you can get it from them too. Knights, they have a good section on their website. If you're in the UK, you already know about them and whatnot. They've been around for a really long time. I bought some radios from them in the past. I always had really good luck and stuff. So good people there for sure. You can download it right from their website, and it's quite easy. So they sell a lot of the products over there, the European models that I don't carry here, but this one I do carry. It's exclusive to me here in the United States, so it's really cool. This band is kind of just what it is, you know, it's normal, but this is the other band that's kind of popular, so you know, you have up to 605 here, so if you want to go to the zeros and stuff, it's super easy, just like that, you know. Doesn't matter if this isn't at 12 o'clock, so, you know, that kind of thing. Real easy to work with. If you want to go a little smaller increment, just tap that and see when the numbers flash. And there you go, there's your one. So on and so forth. You could also switch the way this operates here and the push. There's different options in the menu. So one thing that a customer pointed out to me is the manual doesn't equate for this one. So the numbers, and this is the menu number. What you'll see in the manual is probably different, because the manual was written before they added this feature, so the numbers might be slightly off, but you can basically see what they are basis what you see off the radio, so you can line up what the manual shows for description to what you're looking for, that kind of thing. So it's real easy. Not a super hard radio to use. This is one of those options for the clarifier. The one before was for the push, so you can make it do different things if that's what you want to do. The step, there's a step and the clarifier and the push step. So, you know, it's not a hard radio to learn. It's, you know, some people have trouble with it, unfortunately. Not everybody though. There's a lot of people that can breeze right through these, so not really an overly difficult radio to use. And if you never want to really worry about that stuff, you can just, everything's here. So I'm just going to kind of leave it here. You can decide on where you want to use it, that kind of thing. But it is a 10-meter radio, so just be aware that, you know, it does too much power. It's not type accepted. All that stuff that we should already know. So I'm going to do the alignment on it now, and I'll come back and kind of show you at the end. Okay, there's transmit frequency, 2 kilohertz resolution on the screen. So, or span, I mean. So this thing is on the money. FM high power is 40. FM low power will be 1, and I'll set that off camera. The FM deviation is 2.8. We're going to make it 4.1. Right around there is good. Okay, so here, that looks really good. All right, that part's easy. And then we'll do AM next. I'm going to set the AM high RF power to 8, low RF power to 1. Both levels will be set to about 96% with the 1K tone. With voice, it'll obviously be more. So there's the low power. I just set it just a tad under 1. So that should be good there. Let's go to the modulation setting. I'll get that set up here a second. So. Plug in the cable. And see what it's looking like now. I have a feeling it's going to be low. They always are. So 69%. So it's good there. So. Pretty darn close there, so really good. And then high power. Bring this this down. High power is, like I said, about 8, and it's about 87% right now. Time out timer. So we'll bring that up some. That's pretty good there. Let me see. It's a little bit better. So there's that. Whoops. See how it ramps up? That's what I'm talking about. It'll do more with voice. That's the what I like to call the little trick of the radio hobby. Everybody likes that little bit of spiciness, that distortion that a lot of these radios give, and this one gives that. So I'm trying to move my chair up and it ain't working. So now we'll go in and adjust the sideband, see how that looks first. Probably don't need to do much here. They've really made these pretty good. Yeah, so it's out of the box about 23, so that's actually pretty good. See if we can't make it just a tad bit better. Nope, they've dialed these ones in really good, so trying to get those numbers just a little higher, the decimal. About as good as she's gonna get, so yep, really nice. So just a little bit of bump up on AM and FM and a little bit different carrier levels and stuff, and she's ready to talk. So looking good, and we should be all set. So not really much of a change there at all. A couple digits, but that's not going to really amount to a whole lot. So obviously not as high power some of the other more fancy ones, but it doesn't really matter. I mean, if you're doing 40 watts, you ain't doing any less than somebody doing 100. You know, you ain't gonna miss out on nothing doing 40 or 50 versus 100. It's more in our heads. We want to see more power for whatever reason. It doesn't necessarily mean it's gonna get you anywhere farther, because generally speaking it doesn't. I mean, 100 watts, next big jump is 450 watts, the next big jump is 200. So small amounts, 50 watt increase either way, 100 to 150, 50 to 100, not too big of a difference. So not really enough to really worry about. I'm not going to lose sleep over running 50 over 100, you know. And honestly, every device would run better if we ran it at less power. So, you know, it's just one of those things, I guess, where people get stuff in their head about power and they can't let it go. So at 12 o'clock on this radio, you can see, you know, kind of what it does. So for those that like that, this radio has it for sure. And all the way down, I'm just using any tone factory mic from Aries 2 with the EL setting on in the radio to run the mic. So it will run the mic like this, but you can see it's got pretty good forward momentum on peak, even from a 1 watt. So it's a pretty strong radio. Got a lot of modulation and stuff. The stuff that everybody likes. Although there's some that say they have to push it even beyond that. I just don't understand it. So here's sideband. This is what the RF power all the way up. So it's somewhere between 40 and 50 on these. Just fine, you know. Again, a radio that's doing 100 or a radio that's doing like this, it's not a huge jump. You're not gonna, like, one day you're not just gonna like go, oh man, nobody can hear me, and today they can hear me because I ran this 100 watt radio. If they hear you, they're gonna hear you, whether you're running 50 or 100. That's really my take on it. So it's all about the antenna and conditions, especially if you're trying to do skip. Every day is a different day with skip. It's so sporadic and conditions change. One day you can hear people and they don't hear you. The next day they might hear you and you don't hear them. And then the next day everything lines up right. Here's at 12 o'clock on sideband. That's about right. All the way down on sideband, super low. So fully adjustable. And FM is obviously 50 and 1, and anywhere in between is whatever it is. So that one's pretty much done. I'm going to just quickly show you the receiver, and then we're going to get yours ready to go. Probably won't go out till tomorrow though. I did put your mic back in mic setting back in dynamic, so if you do decide to run the factory mic, it is a dynamic mic, so that's the setting to run it in, or any other mic for that matter. Just remember with the mic plug, I've talked about that so many times on videos, but it is important to remember that. Somebody does sell an adapter that has a blocking capacitor to block the voltage too, and I would research that. I think you can get it on eBay or something, and it's not specifically going to say this radio, but it probably says like Anytone 5555 plus or something on it. Okay, it's got a really nice receiver. This is AM with 30% modulation. There it is, and there it is there, so that's really good. Okay, go to upper sideband and shut off the tone. Get a tone directly from the frequency here. So we know that we're pretty much perfect on receive and transmit. We'd be on sideband because this is set to R and T together. The Rigel here is putting out a negative 102 right now, so we can just kind of build upon what we see off of that. So actually it was a 112, and now it's a 127, and there's that. So this is hooked up to GPS DO, so it's rock solid on frequency, and that's a good thing, because you know, we know that if we're hearing the tone perfectly, which, let me do this, then we know that we would transmit perfectly too, which these radios obviously do. If we wanted to like change the pitch a little bit, you can hear that. 10 hertz does make a difference. I mean, you can hear that pitch change going 10 hertz down. So the farther you go, the less, you know, normal that tone sounds. So it's definitely important to have a radio these days, and there's really no excuse anymore with all these good radios that are on the market and stuff to not have one that stays on frequency all the time. You know, the guys that buy certain brands and stuff, obviously they're fun radios and stuff, but the sideband part of it is kind of like non-existent in my opinion. So just understand that, you know, and that's why I don't sell certain makes and models, just due to that. But they are fun radios. They are fun radios for AM. I get that part of it. It's fun sometimes to have fun and have a big old hunkin' radio to look at, or you know, something other than certain ones that you might see on my channel. So I get that part of it, and I do enjoy certain ones and stuff for certain reasons, but I'm fully aware of which ones don't do certain things that I want. So if I were to make a decision and buy one, I kind of know going into it, okay, I don't expect it to do much here, and I would actually adjust the circuit board to improve on like AM versus sideband, which pretty much shuts sideband off in a lot of cases. So I do things different when it comes to my own gear, and that's why I don't really push certain items and certain brands, because a lot of guys don't realize that, and they expect certain brands to work as good as other brands, and it's just unfortunately isn't the case. So, you know, I don't like to talk negative about any other brands and stuff like that. It's just, you know, I live in the world where I can test things and look at things in a different spot, and I know what to expect from certain things. So, you know, it is what it is for me, but not everybody has the ability to sit here and put a new radio on a bench with some test equipment and go through and check it out and just realize within 5 minutes, okay, well, this isn't ever going to do well here. Even if I go in and say I realign it, generally speaking, it's a design of the model that pretty much supersedes anything that we can do alignment wise with frequency. So we're kind of past that point of where we should have to, you know, really accept certain things for what they are. Well, with AM, you know, you can be off frequency and it's not as big of a deal. I would prefer not to be, but again, sometimes it's fun just to run something else and have a big old hunking thing in front of you and just key down and have fun. So there's the fun aspect that you overlook things too. All right, Jay, we'll get this one ready to send your way, and I sure do appreciate it. And again, as everybody knows, this is my favorite radio, so I will always enjoy this one. And once I get a dedicated spot on my desk here for some of my own gear that's away from what you guys see here. I'm trying to separate this stuff from my own stuff, so that way when I don't want to do this, and believe me, there are times where I just want to be like everybody else and sit and talk on the radio. I don't want to sit here and look at this stuff anymore. And even when I'm doing HF, sometimes I'm running this rig. I just don't want this rig here. I want it somewhere else where I can just be me and focus on my fun for the hobby. So I need to do some switcheroos in here. 73.